Let's just look at the new faces who had an entry today in the swearing in this evening. So there.
I, Sarvananda Sonowal, do swear in the name of God.
Ex-Assam Chief Minister rewarded for sacrificing his post to Himanta Sarma.
Dr. Virendra Kumar.
Also Dr. Virendra Kumar coming there from Madhya Pradesh, a senior BJP MP from Madhya Pradesh, Cabinet Minister. Jyotiraditya Scindia, well, once a high-profile Congress leader, but rewarded there for giving the BJP a government in Madhya Pradesh. They're sworn in as Cabinet Minister. Earlier was Minister of State at the independent charge in the Congress. Also Ramachandra Prasad Singh. He's a Rajya Sabha MP from Bihar and also extremely close there to Nitish Kumar. He is of the JDU, the only JDU sworn in. Now, interesting choice there, Ashwini Vaishnav. Now, again, he's a BJP MP. He was earlier once private secretary to Atal Bihari Vajpayee, but also an IS officer. There we have the breakaway from the Lok Janshakti Party, brother of the late Ramvilas Paswan, Chirag Paswan's estranged uncle. Kiran Rijiju, major promotion for him there. He was currently Minister of State for Sports, but he's been promoted to cabinet rank. Also R.K. Singh, Power Minister with independent charge, again gets promoted to cabinet rank, former Home Secretary as well under the UPA. Hardeep Singh Puri, again a former bureaucrat, currently Civil Aviation and Urban Development Minister with independent charge, also promoted to cabinet rank. And now remember, there are lots of empty cabinet positions, so interesting to see the portfolios. Mansukh Mandavia, again from Gujarat, there gets promoted to cabinet rank. Overall, there are 15 new cabinet ministers. But this really is the big headline. Bhupinder Yadav, now he's a key election strategist, works very closely with Home Minister Amit Shah. So key political strategist, now becoming a cabinet minister. And Purushottam, so those are really some of the main ones. But let's go across to all our analysts now joining me or whatever. We'll also have, we can see there G. Kishan Reddy being promoted, MOS Home Affairs. Let's just go across to all our guests now. First, the big picture really. And Vasu, Akhilesh, first Vasu, over to you. Because here the headline really seems to be on also the fact that an entire generation of senior BJP ministers seems to have been wiped out from this cabinet.
That's right, Sonia. You're absolutely right to say that the headlines of those who are dropped almost eclipse those who are taken in. But here are 2-3 big takeaways that I see coming from this reshuffle. Number one, if you look at it now, the size of the Modi cabinet has swelled to close to 80. The cap is 81. It has reached 80. This is a government that came in with the slogan of minimum government, maximum governance. The first Modi cabinet in 2014 was just 46 ministers. Now we've reached almost 80. So I think minimum government, maximum governance has gone out of the window. Number two, the question is that having dropped people like Ravi Shankar Prasad, like Harshvardhan, again, big surprise moves, you've now opened up a number of key portfolios that are up for grabs. Health, law, IT, INB, education. Also remember, Piyush Goyal holding multiple crucial portfolios like commerce and railways. Who's going to fill it? Is the talent that has come in strong enough? Do they have the bench strength to fill these important portfolios? That's the big question. Instead of focusing much more on performance, the government seems to be emphasizing politics. For the first time, Sonia, we've actually had the government share background details, detailing in granular detail the caste combinations, the regional combinations of ministers. I don't think this has ever happened before that you've been told how many SCs, how many STs, how many OBCs, within those, how many subcastes of SC, STs and OBCs. So this does seem to be a major shake-up, an attempt to sort of present, as it were, an election time cabinet to shake off some of the backlash of the government being accused of mismanaging the COVID pandemic. But again, talent, talent, talent. That's the big question which still remains unanswered.
Well, let's go across, Vasu, thanks for that. Let's go across to Akhilesh, who's really been tracking the inner stories. I mean, Akhilesh, in fact, you've broken the twists and turns of this cabinet expansion from the beginning on this. What was the thinking? Did the sackings of these prominent ministers, we're talking them of a certain generation, but remember both Ravi Shankar Prasad and Prakash Javadekar used to hold the cabinet briefings. They were the public face of the government. There was no hint at all that they were in a sense underperformers. In fact, the recent high profile spats that Ravi Shankar Prasad has had with Twitter has all been seen as part of the very much the government's mainstream agenda. Why did this happen?
Well, it's really surprising, but of course the performance was the key factor why these three senior ministers were dropped, because these three ministers were concerning the ministries which made international headlines, be it IT ministries continuous standoff with the Twitter, or health ministers, handling of the COVID situation, or also Prakash Javadekar handling of the information broadcasting. So all these three were the key factors how the international headlines were, affecting Modi government's image. So this may be the key reason why these three ministers were dropped, and also regional balance were to be maintained, because as far as Bihar is concerned, we know that once you have RCP Singh, Pashupati Paras, these two cabinet ministers coming from Bihar, you would have to drop somebody. RK Singh was the name which was being considered earlier, but now of course RK Singh being given a promotion, and now Ravi Shankar Prasad being dropped, and that's really a surprising move, knowing very well that the opposition will mount an attack offensive and in the coming monsoon session, which is coming on July 19. Despite knowing that the Prime Minister has taken the risk in dropping these three key ministers, it's a big surprising move. But of course, coming to this new Council of Ministers expansion, we can say that one thing, Sonia, for sure, that this is the team along with which Prime Minister Narendra Modi is going to lead the 2024 campaign of the BJP, because now there's no scope for any further expansion or further induction. So this basically means that these are the people who are going to be leading party in the next election. And of course, the performance is going to be key criteria, and the upcoming elections in the 5 states, this is also a very crucial factor, because in Uttar Pradesh 7 new ministers are being appointed from Uttar Pradesh. This of course sends a very strong message. And also the regions in Uttar Pradesh, each region has been represented. Even 2022 Gujarat elections, we have seen that 5 new ministers coming from Gujarat, maintaining the caste balance. You have 2 Patels and then 3 OBCs from Gujarat. So that balance is also maintained in Maharashtra, in Madhya Pradesh, in Karnataka, even in West Bengal, where BJP has lost majorly recently in the assembly elections. The BJP has continued to focus on West Bengal, giving 4 bus to this state.